Hello, it's 11:20 a.m. right now. So, I guess that might be why I'm hungry right now. I didn't realize it was after 11 o'clock. But, okay. I'm feeling nervous because I don't know who might walk up in here or when. And I know and I understand it's the public. If I was at the other library, I could do a whole video without feeling nervous, but I'm trying to not talk too loud. But okay, so this is okay. The idea of people talking about that I'm not trying hard enough to better myself, or that I need to take that I'm not taking responsibility for, for what I'm going through and stuff like that. I mean, I've tried with the best way I know how and what I could, and they're using the directed energy weapons to anally rape me right now. That hasn't happened in a long time. This is so uncomfortable. Wow, they're making me feel so weird. But okay, if y'all feel like, I mean, this one person try to make it like as if, you know, I'm not trying hard enough, and she's supposed to be targeted too, heavily targeted, and sleep deprived and stuff like that. So she ought to understand where I'm coming from. So I mean, she's in a whole different country, and she tried to make it like as if the only way people will be willing to help me is if I show concrete proof that I'm trying to strive to better myself. And she said that she wants me with a comfortable home and stuff like that. But I'm like, well, I don't know if you're listening to the perps, because you sound like them. The perps, they sabotage, me trying to better myself. They sabotage that and then turn around and blame me and say that I'm self-sabotaging, that I don't want to take any responsibility for my actions or help myself. So that pretty much enraged and hurt me that she said that. And I'm like, wow, is she believing a lot of what the perps are saying? Or did she never watch my YouTube videos to show my journey of the things that I've tried and the things that the perps have sabotaged for me and stuff like that? I've been fighting for housing, I guess, pretty much since I ended up, on the streets. I tried a job. I'm not going to say what it is because the perps will get ideas and they sabotage that. And if it weren't that for that particular job, that could have kept me from, it's like one thing is people love to make assumptions and judge and point the finger and condemn and just make all these assumptions, but they're not physically around you all day, every day, but they just want to make assumptions about you in order to make themselves feel like they're such intelligent people. But, I mean, what work have I not tried? I mean, I've tried Sky Zone. Y'all know what happened. Perks and Targets. Y'all know what happened with that. I explained what happened with the previous job. And, it's like y'all choose to believe what y'all want to believe, and it's like I just tried a job. When I went to Fort Walton Beach, I tried, and they said that I couldn't have my earbuds. I have hypersensitive ears, and I cannot be around noise. And so, I have hypersensitive ears and can't be around noise. So that limits me with a lot of, not saying that I can't do any job, but I can do some, but it's limiting. Like, I have the ability, if I'm shown how to do it, I have the ability to do a cashier job at Publix, for example, if you show me how to do it. But the thing is, my hypersensitive ears, like any surrounding noise, it will hurt my ears and affect my ability to concentrate and focus and stuff like that. I mean, I like if people say I'm lazy and not trying. I mean, I have a bachelor's degree, so is that not trying? I've been looking for years and just feeling hopeless. I mean, they sabotaged me so bad in Denton, Texas, and in other places. You know, when I've tried to get job opportunities and was just hopeless and depressed and wondering what is wrong. You know, and one lady, she wasn't a voc rehab counselor, but she was some kind of job, like when you go to like the workforce center, and this lady, she just left me hanging by myself and just shrug her shoulders and say, well, just blame the economy, just blame the economy. I mean, I was looking up earlier this morning at Wits End, looking up was there alternative to mainstream housing where you can just, you know, live somewhere with your freedom without the control of a landlord and no contract. And I'm like, well, wow, if I had a vehicle and if the perks didn't force sleep deprive me, things would be so much easier. Like, if I had a dependable vehicle or reliable vehicle, in which most jobs require, and if I had a reliable vehicle, then I said if I had a reliable vehicle and if they stopped sleep depriving me and if I had the means to greatly improve my diet, then that would open up so many more job possible opportunities. I like the idea of, if you can be your own landlord and be your own work boss and just be carefree and happy and just take total control. Well, I don't know about 100%, but control over your own life. And some people think, it's great to live with the freedom of no landlord, no bills, no corporate slavery and stuff like that. I mean, if you can, and I've tried the gardening and asked for help, and I was new at it when I was in Los Angeles. I thought that after the biological mother, Frances, had passed away, in which this past Sunday, the 12th, was her, I think 8 years anniversary of her passing. And I thought I mentioned that in my video on Sunday, but I apologize if I didn't. Excuse me. So, I'm limited also in my motor skills and certain things because of foster care experimentation and because of the 2 strokes I had when I was 5 years old and stuff like that makes things like that. That's why I can do housekeeping, but I have difficulty making with the ability to make the beds. I know how to make a bed, but it's just difficult for me to have. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know how to do a good enough job to make the beds tight. And then they tell me I work too slow at certain jobs, and it's like I feel as if if I work fast, I get clumsy, and which slows me down even more. So, the Social Security Ticket to Work program failed me. The the voc rehab failed me, and I even thought about trying to see about the PASS program, and got attacked online for asking for questions or help on how to go about doing that. So and so many people had shunned me for depending on the government, in which I never signed up for willingly, like in the first place. Like, it's like, and one target had told me that the stories that I said, he said that it sounded like as if the foster mom forced handicapped me. And then, all these people who calling me mentally challenged and retarded, mentally slow, and even though I have a bachelor's degree, and they try to sabotage and try to hinder me from graduating from college, and they tried that with high school, but I was a little more successful with high school. But college, I mean, it started from the beginning because see, I was already making high grades in high school and stuff like that, and me becoming an adult and me being a survivor of um, psychiatric abuse and psychiatric injury, you know, that's also a problem too. And one person on Twitter was telling me that that I it's that I need to detox, and I've been knowing that I need to detox, detox my whole body and detox the mercury fillings out of my mouth, and I don't even know. I heard that sometimes the psychiatric poisons, like the pharmaceuticals, can like it can take years backed up in your body. And I've been forced to see a psychiatrist and take medicine for years, toxic medications for years. So if people think I'm crazy and wonder why my mind ain't right because of and then being in a cult, y'all got to think about that too. Abused in foster care and put in a cult, and I don't know how to make that nobody really cares. I thought that people would be outraged and that it, like, if anybody else would have mentioned something, that it would have been like public, reaching like national media attention, or public media attention. But I'm being just ignored. And if y'all can't say I haven't been trying with self-sufficiency, if I tried certain jobs, I've been filling out applications, whatever I can on Indeed or Craigslist very often, been trying to look for places. And I have a driver's license. I used to have a chauffeur's license, in New Orleans. And, I come here, they don't have chauffeur's license here. But the thing that's hindering me from driving is, the perps keeping me sleep deprived. Even if I had a roof over my head, they would keep me, like, I've even tried certain jobs in 2017, and the perps, like, it's like they wanted to, the night, if I try to rent a car, and then the perps would, I didn't know that was part of the gang stalking that they were doing electronic weapons. I thought it was just personal family witchcraft, but I didn't realize it was perps in my neighborhood, or probably drone or whatever, draining me and keeping me sleep deprived. And like I told y'all about the time that me being forced awake and sleep deprived for 18 days, and it happened twice in the year 2017. And then on the 18th day, I would end up having heart pain so bad that I'm thinking I'm having a heart attack. And then I go to the emergency room. They take an eternity to help me or force me to wait till last, and then treat me like shit in the emergency room. And then, they turn around and say, well, I had to deal with these rude pregnant nurses who smoke heavy cigarettes. And they'll try to be like, oh, you have the best EKG we've seen all day. And me being scared that I'm going to die. From the days of sleep deprivation and stuff like that. And it's just horrible that what they're doing to us. And I already told y'all, Star Bricker, the perp, she write false bad reviews on all my Amazon ebooks to deter people from wanting to buy them. And she's a very abusive person. She even calls me mentally challenged and stuff like that. And here, that J Angel Raw Honey perp, she tried to if I said her or Q the Realm, if I say that I'm going through something, and my twin sister as well, they would do a fake video to pretend to fake debunk the reality of what I'm going through, and like I know what my struggles are, and so does God. And I've been showing y'all what my struggles are, and I got frustrated that even other targets doubt me, and try to act like they have certain traits, like how the perps act and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm disappointed because people who said 2 years ago, people who said that they're targeting an individual, and with the explosion of everybody coming out saying on YouTube saying they're a targeted individual, people say, well, I need help with this, and then they put up their GoFundMe and they get their help. But me, oh, you have to show effort, and you have to show some responsibility. And like, come on, I'm in an emergency. I mean, it's pouring outside. There's no freaking time. I mean, and I know that I've been, even since, I've been trying to get permanent housing, fighting for permanent housing, even when I was in New Orleans. But I, you know, it's like, I mean, who I mean, but they try to make it like the online perps and my twin sister and her cult followers. They trying to make it like as if, oh, don't help Candy because she had an opportunity and she had her Section 8 and she walked out on it. But nobody's gonna out on that Section 8 just for no reason. I mean, the Section 8 contract that they had me under traumatized me, that I was experiencing all this harassment and abuse and torture from neighbors and landlords, and the police wouldn't do anything. They were abusive to me and bullying me at the Section 8 office, and I didn't realize it was part of the gang stalking. So, I mean, me being tortured with the directed energy weapons, neighbors trying to fight you, and, having, like, your part of your window taken out, and making you feel unsafe, and make you feel like your life is threatened, and then you can't even go home to peace, your sanctuary, your haven. Can't even call that home if you can't get peace. You cannot call a place where you cannot get peace or rest, where you just, day or night, tormented day and night, all day, every day. Neighbors, trying to, there was a male neighbor who kind of threatened to have me bust upside the head, and he was a guy, and to be having to call the police every single day on the neighbors. And then I moved to another place, same thing. I mean, when I was living in Los Angeles, I had to deal with stuff like them entering in and out of my gate when they had their own gate to go through. They took the knob off the gate and made me feel unsafe. People entering in and out of my home while I was gone, leaving the door wide open, or entering while I was asleep, leaving the door wide open. And, I would go to sleep and then wake up with my with the cabinets in the kitchen open, and I think it was once, but probably twice, but I think it was once, there was a smushed dead bird on and I mean, it didn't even cross my mind and then I don't even think I had a good enough quality phone to film that either, or take a picture or anything. The smushed dead bird on my doorstep when I was living in Los Angeles. And I tried to have an aloe plant, that got messed with, and it's like the landlord he will do some construction or whatever work on the buildings, and then put the trash in only my bin after he started perping me, and none of the other neighbors, and which raised up my garbage price that I had to pay the garbage bill. It raised up the price so high, So, I mean, people who used to love me, and then they hear the smear campaign or false rumor, then they join in on the perping. But the landlord, Sam Barretta, Barrueta, from Linwood, California, Sam Barretta. He was Hispanic, and he used to love me. And then he would do stuff like set me up to stay cold all winter, and pretend to fix the He would pretend to fake like he was gonna fix. I mean, fake like he was fixing the heater, and then leave me to be cold. And then they would make. They would always. I would always smell like a gas leak on the stove constantly, and then some kind of way the the tub would get stopped up for I don't know what reason, and then they would blame me saying that I did it, and all these everything either being stopped up or having leaks or this or that whatever, and a feeling the vibrating torture with the vibrating noise campaigns, noise harassment, and I didn't know what was going on at the time. That I was tortured so bad that I wish people would understand. And so, I mean, some targets live their life on the go. Like if they ain't fortunate enough to have a vehicle, but they, I don't know how they make it if they travel the country in a I don't know, van, car, RV, SUV, whatever vehicle, and they seem to be making it. But some of them have their own business. But when I ask, well, how can you help me? How can I get an opportunity to get my own business? I get straight up ignored, or they act like it's a secret to hide. So even though I'm able to walk, but it's crazy that I'm trying to figure out, what am I able to do? But it's like certain jobs want you to be like forced to be normal, or if you can't do the whole entire job like normal and fast like everybody else, then you're not fit for the job, for the one thing that you have difficulty with because of your disability. And it seems like a lot of employers these days in homeless shelters and stuff, they refuse to accommodate your disability. And if I have any doctor, they refuse to write a note. They refuse to write any notes, or to give me any special accommodations with my disability and stuff like that. And for years, even going to college or even before college and after college, if I try to apply at Walmart, Target, Publix, I don't get calls back. McDonald's, I do not get a call back. One time I got a job interview at Wendy's, and a lady juiced my head up into thinking she was for sure going to hire me, and then she went AWOL on me. So, I'm trying to figure out what self-employed thing I can do. What self-employed thing I can do. And I'm looking for a hand up and not a hand out. And I don't try those whatever so-called shielding techniques with the targeting, because a lot of it's new age, and I don't go for that. So I have my ebooks out, and they don't really get that much recognition, and people make it like I even burnt my bridges, in the so-called TI community, because a lot of them have turned out to be, they sold out and became perps and still posing as targeted. And so I have a lot of conflict with them too. But there are some real targets who believe the smear campaigns and the lies that the popular fakes with the large following, the popular fakes, the stuff that they would say about me, it's like even the real TIs will go along with that without fact checking. So, I'm chronically sleep deprived, and they vibrated me again last night. And getting attached to, I have, fighting out unwanted intrusive thoughts and suffering complex PTSD, being in a cult. So I got a lot of unsolved and unresolved problems that people just leaving me hanging and think, oh, you should take the responsibility to handle it yourself, or they think that I'm just acting like a vulnerable, they falsely assume that I'm just acting like a vulnerable narcissist who just wants to be pampered and that's not what I'm trying to do. And they think I just make excuses for my behavior or excuses for lack of something, when it's like I try to explain and they just purposely, filter me out and just, but people handpick who they want to be supportive of. As I said, men in the targeted individual community put up a GoFundMe and say that they need help. Like James Harkin got a lot of help, and then some people say he sold out and became a perp. So people keep suppressing me. And there was another guy named James who he was homeless on the streets living in Maine, and they would donate to him when he was homeless and living in his car in Maine, and he got a lot of help. But people think I'm a loser because I'm still struggling and targeted, and while everybody else sold out and think that they're better and they have high incomes. And I'm not looking for a high income. I'm just looking to get out of debt and get me a place to live, in a car, like a simple vehicle to get around in, or a van to live in, or something like that. But I really would like for, a stable home. But, I just wish that people would come together and help me, get a stable home and, a job. I mean, even if it's self-employed, something I can do. So this is me trying to clarify. Thanks for listening. Bye.